Okay, here's the deal. Your opinion matters. Your opinion matters a great deal. It matters such a great deal that you have to be careful how you communicate what you think about a situation, a circumstance, somebody. And this goes for from a leader on down to homegirl, homeboy in the hood. Okay? Whatever it is. You have to be careful about communicating a certain narrative that you have of a situation, because it can really impact somebody's life. It can change the entire trajectory of someone else's life perspective, results, energy that they then become susceptible to as a result of your perspective. And if it's thwarted, then you are creating an energy that is negative, that perpetuates another cycle of negativity. And maybe you were just communicating your own perspective or how you were feeling about a person or something like that. If you're feeling something negative about a person, then talk to that person. If you can't talk to that person, talk to the divine. Talk to your spirit team. Because not everybody is grown enough spiritually, not religiously, grown enough in spirit to be able to handle it without having negative judgment and perspective about that person, situation, or thing. And I think that's very, very important for just humankind, period. It's very, very important to consider. I remember growing up in the church, right? Grew up in a church, and there were certain energies that we were forbidden to collaborate with. And when I say energies in this form, I'm referring to individuals. Because we are energy. Okay? We are energy. That's what it is. We're energy, and that's just the way it is. Okay? So when I'm talking about that, I'm referring to humankind. For example, I was told it was, the devil was Prince. I was told the devil was Michael Jackson. Like, you don't go to Michael Jackson. You can't go to those concerts. You can't have anything. Those people are being used by the devil. And because of that, I doubted the fact that I wanted to pop my finger or stomp my feet to a song, or, even found some type of intrigue towards the way they moved. Hell, Prince I didn't even pay attention to, because I figured I was surely bound to hell if I paid attention to Prince, right? So there was this influence that caused a pushback in my life, which I am music. And hey, for those of you who know and you're following my page, then you already know how it is. I am what some would call a medium. Okay? I have tapped in. I'm more connected to the spiritual realm than I am to this physical realm on any day. Okay? So, and have always been. Okay? So, as I step into this realm, you will hear me often say that Prince is one of my best friends, and it is. He is. So that energy I've connected with, but from another side, another plane in life. Okay? So I say that to say the information that I've found out about even Prince and the intentions really behind the music and his life was quite different. It was much more loving than anything I had ever experienced, in fact. When I think about Michael Jackson, Jackson touched billions of people in his lifetime. Why? Because of love. He was separate and he was away, but he was love. Going back to Prince, they talked about how Prince, he made his home a studio. When he was having fun, he was doing music, and people would talk about, yeah, Prince invited me over in the after hours, but the after hours, it wasn't sex and panties and underwear. It was music. He was putting on a concert. There was a concert going on. It sounds like me. I work all the time, right? And I would do whatever I need to do to get something done, and I'm away. I'm separate because that's my peace. That's my love, right? I'm here for a mission. A lot of people who are here for a mission are very different, very loving, and also quite different. So it's, when I look back on the negativity, I remember sermons being preached in there. These people were being talked about. And just because somebody is famous doesn't mean that you talking about them gives you a pass. It doesn't mean that you get a pass because they're famous and now you get a chance to talk about them on the pulpit and talk about they're the devil or they're evil or this and that, where it's planting seed of discord. In the spiritual realm, spiritual world, in the spiritual streets, we call that cursing someone. Cursing someone. Yeah. It is no other way to say it. It is what it is. Cursing someone from a pulpit. I was listening to someone the other day. I won't say the name. A lot of times I won't say the names of certain people because I want you to understand the message. I don't want you to get it twisted. I was listening to someone the other day and I was quite disgusted or appalled in the way this person who had high influence online, I had never heard of him before. First day I was guided actually to his video, and I know it was for this point here. He was talking about people who have a gift of knowing. They have psychic. They are operating in their psychic abilities. Okay, they're doing what they have been called to do, right? And not every person who has a YouTube page, every person who is a reader, okay, has been called, just like anything else. Okay, some people choose to pick it up because they figure they can learn it and they go with the flow, but they may not. Okay, they may not be completely tapped in spiritually, etc. But at the end of the day, I stand to be corrected in something. I don't want you to get it twisted, because at the end of the day, we all have psychic abilities. Okay, not all of us, not all of humankind is tapped into that ability to be able to flow with that ability, to be able to connect with the ability. Okay, so but every last one of us are spirit beings, those whose souls have been born in purity. That's another message. I don't want to lose you right now. Although it's very important to understand that because we have not known truly who we are, we have not been privy of the knowledge and understanding that, in fact, we all are spirit beings, and we all have psychic gifts, as we define it, right? We define it as a psychic gift. Not everybody is privy, but for the majority, as a human race, we have not been aware of who we have always been as powerful spirit beings and creators. Therefore, as the divine has said to me, that we have created many devils, right? Because we have not known who we are, we have also created not only just flesh and blood, but entity energies that have the same power and ability to vibrate and communicate to us in the way in which the divine source energy, i.e. God, does. So it's been a lack of knowledge. Because due to a lack of knowledge of us not knowing, we have created them up. we done some shit, okay? We done it, okay? So this is the thing. I really want you to understand that none of that is bad. None of that is appropriate. I was listening to this I guess he's a minister. And not every minister does this, but there are quite a few that do. And the ministers don't stand alone. There are a lot of you that do. There are a lot of just regular people. Because all of us, at the end of the day, we are the world. We are the same. We are the children. We are the world. We'll make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. That part. Because we're going to have to. Because that's the divine will, right? So I'm saying this, I was just taken aback. Because I am aware now. I'm aware. I'm woke. And to hear this gentleman answer the questions of his audience, which he had thousands of people in the room on his live at the time. And he's saying, I'm hearing the insecurity in his message. I'm hearing, I can't help but hear the insecurity. I'm hearing the narcissistic religious tone. I'm hearing it. And I'm hearing him tear down other people. People are saying, well, and why is it that they can be, why are they on point? Why are they on point with their message? Because the devil is, running rampant. I told y'all about that. Don't worry about that. That's the devil. Those people are being used by the devil, blah, 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 blah. And he's going on and on. I get it. I get it. He had a rough upbringing. He had a rough past. His story broke him, right? See, but the story broke him, and he found hope in his calling within the church, and that was a part of his story. And it doesn't mean that it wasn't a part of his story. It doesn't mean that it wasn't for him to go where he ended up going. But regardless of which, that perspective is a perspective of old. Not everybody that is called to go beyond a certain religious perspective or indoctrination of any type that has you sedated to the point that you are not able to be free, and that you are in the position of pointing the finger at anyone for any reason, right? There is an opportunity of growth development for your own soul's revolution and the emancipation of yourself, so that you can be free in spirit and in flesh. Those who were listening on the call, because he was a pastor, then everybody's like, glory to God, that's right, pastor, da, 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 and they're joining on the bandwagon. There's nothing less than the foundation of its core as it pertains to religion. Divine said to me, I was gaslit centuries ago. Had me all, I got all messed up. not like what they said I was. That system that we've been accustomed to has been no less than the demonstration of gaslighting. And we wonder why. And we wonder why. And we wonder why there's gaslighting everywhere, why everybody's being gaslit, why all this depression is going on. People walking in fear and paranoia and all of this kind of stuff. And you wonder why. You wonder why. People are so sedated to the point that they want to control another human being, and in the name of God they tear another person down as if they are exempt from the idea of the backbiting, cursing, and the perspectives that you're placing on innocent people. A lot of these people who are running to the church for hope, and it's just an opportunity for an elevation within the church. How about that? Another level. Let's take it to another level within the indoctrination, and let my people go. Free the people. They're not yours anyway. It's the divine. Can we all get on the mission for the divine? Can everybody just allow your people to sit and meditate, something that we were taught that it was not God for us to meditate, which is the highest form of prayer, because then you connect with the divine. Divine say, why would I send you? I didn't send you to earth. I didn't create this idea of you going to earth to find out a religion, when all you have to do is connect with me. Just connect. If you connect with me, you're going to find out everything. We don't have to go through all that. What? I'm going to just put you in the hands of a vulture. But see, then there are other questions, and that's fine. Then you ask the question, well, if that's the case, then how is it that there was, then you trying to downplay who God is? Because God, no, let me tell you something. God is so amazing and awesome. God, as God has been described, unfortunately, is no less than a high-class slave master. I mean, you do A or B, but you better choose. If you don't choose A, to come roll with me, I got you. Burn your ass for the rest of your life. That's it. That's what's going to happen to your ass. I'm just saying, could you have just left me in the ethers some damn, well, why did I even have to come here on this plane, right? You know what I'm saying? The first time I asked that question, I was 11 years old. I did ask that question. Like, what the hell? Russian roulette? As I had been told, if many of you know my story, I was told that I had committed an unforgivable sin and that my destiny was hell. And the way I was taught of hell was fire and brimstone, damn it, and you're going to have worms crawling all over your body. So at 11 years old, I'm wondering, why the hell am I, what the hell, why did I come here? What is this? You know, and well, I don't want to kill myself, so I want to, make this quicker, make this faith quicker. And no, it's not that I'm broken or I'm hurt, and for the reason that I'm saying this message. It's because I'm free that I can say it proudly. And because I'm looking at, when there are scenarios that continue to come in your life that demonstrates the same type of energy, the same type of entity, that's a message. And that's for somebody. That's a message. So someone else just was hurt by someone else expressing a concern that they had about somebody else because they were hurt, and that perspective to the one they communicated thwarted that person's perspective of said disgruntled person that said, I can't believe this. Like, I was cool, now I'm not cool with these people because of this, that, and the third. And it brought me back to this message that it's actually been on me, especially since the other day when I listened to this pastor who, God bless his soul. He's doing the best that he can, right? That's how he was taught. I mean, we were taught to backbite. I used to go to hair salons, and they were all the Christians and everybody in the church coming near and far, coming there, and you hear, yeah, girl, did you hear what happened to Ann? I don't know what happened to Ann, girl. Girl, Ann was, did you hear her husband left her? No, he didn't. Lord have mercy. Ann, her husband left. Yes, he left her. Well, what did he do, girl? Honey, you know what? But you know what? God is going to restore. God is going to restore, because Ann was with Beth. And see, Ann got with Beth. Her husband got with Beth, and that was her friend. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you know what I'm saying. So it's like you think y'all having a little talk, y'all getting hair done. Oh, in the name of God, I hope that they get better. Meanwhile, y'all spitting and putting conversation out on somebody, or when the pastor is preaching on the pulpit and he's talking about who somebody is, a devil. You just created a devil right there. Just right there. You created a whole bunch of devils in that audience. A whole bunch of devils just got born, because you got a whole bunch of people in that audience who got something to say about somebody, because you told them that this is what it was, and they believe you, and they are trusting your word. So you just badgered another human being. And someone who is there to hear you for the hope of their own calling trust you so much. They trust you, they trust you more than they trust God. Because a lot of times they'll tell you, no, God didn't tell you that. Who you going to tell somebody what God didn't say? I remember my mother. My mother she was more conscious than she knew. But she was sedated. Died scared. She just didn't want to go to hell. Her mother wouldn't talk about anybody. She just wouldn't. Wasn't even in her. But she was scared. She was afraid. And what we have to be careful of, we have to be careful to not abuse even knowledge that we have. Because see, this is the thing. Until you go through the process of evolution in your life, you're not in a position to call judgment or say anything about anybody. Stay in your lane. How about that? Stay in your lane. In your lane. Not the next person. Don't worry about what the other person is doing. But you have to be careful how you put your name on people. How you make a judgment call on people. And definitely how you communicate your grievances of people to others. Because for all you know, maybe the way you saw it, it wasn't that. Maybe the perspective was different. Maybe the scenario was different. You don't know. It could have been a different scenario. And then you find out later, I remember, you find out later that it was totally different, but in between time, you didn't lay the foundation of all kind of bullshit all along the way, and now people are mad at each other, and people are doing things towards each other based on your perspective that was thwarted from the beginning. I remember being in a situation with a family member, and it was all this grievances, but my family member at the time was going through a lot of paranoia and was very frightened, and had made it seem as though I had done something to them that I knew I didn't do. So I remember, because of their perspective, there was a lot of ill coming towards me, a lot of ill perspective coming towards me, that it wasn't warranted. But because I knew the scenario in which my other family member had made this judgment call, I wasn't upset or anything. But at the end of the day, regardless of somebody else having a misinterpretation, a person's reaction, they're still responsible for their actions towards said individual who is being accused. Okay, so stay in your lane. I look. Don't worry. Matter of fact, when somebody come to tell you some gossip, hey, look, I don't even want to hear that. I'm sorry that you're going through that. Don't tell me the name. Maybe you tell me the situation, and then I can help you out when I can. Don't try to feed and get the information and get more information. You want to know names and addresses and shit. You really into it. Girl, what happened? Boy, what happened, man? Oh, hell no. That's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened, man. You know, that's not it. But this particular person, I knew what their situation was. And then at the end of the day, when it was proven, actually it was something that, some documents or something that I knew they had them, but they couldn't find them. And due to their then perspective of being fearful and things of that nature, a lot of times you can't find, you're very discombobulated in many different areas of your life. So anyways, they found the information later. They called me and they apologized in private. This was after all the heat, after everything. And they called me and apologized in private. And guess what? I said, I'm so glad you called me. Will you call them and let them know that I was telling the truth? Nah, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm just going to leave it alone. I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, you were right. Yep, I see everything. I even have recorded it in the computer and blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, baby girl. Da, 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 da. Listen, I let it go too. Let the people talk what they talk, feel what they feel, and move how they groove. It's all cool with me. I don't give 2 cents less than a damn at the end of the day. All right? Because I'm going to stay in my lane. Right? So I don't care how you think in the first place. So we good. But, that's for the record. People have feelings based on their perspective. Based on their perspective. I just did a podcast the other day where I was talking about when someone is having when someone is hearing, the Spirit guided me to look up to hear. So when I looked it up, it was very interesting how hearing was more as it related to the perspective of the information. How you receive the information is based on your perception. So whatever you hear is based on what you are capable of perceiving. Right? I said I shared a story of me playing the violin. I used to be first violinist, and one thing for sure, when we would have to tune those strings up, I don't care. You can play a string all you want. But if that string is out of tune, it's only going to play one type of song. And it's not going to be the one that you want it to play. Right? So until you get in tuned, until you get in alignment spiritually, until you get into the alignment and the flow with the divine, then you hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. And I mean sitting and being quiet. Sitting and being quiet, meditating, so that you can be in alignment and flow with the divine. Otherwise, you are in no place to make judgment, because what you do is cause for there to be ill will. You're planting seeds of discord all over the world. When I listened to that pastor the other night, I listened to that pastor and I said, oh my gosh, because at first I was going to turn it. I'm like, what am I listening to this for? But I know I was guided to it, so I listened. And it was that message. And I was so like, oh my gosh, I used to be one of those 3,000 that were sitting there. I would have been there and kumbaya, been like, oh man, you right, pastor. That's right. And talking about a subject that they have no knowledge of. No knowledge. We were taught not to like, we couldn't like other religious people. Everybody was going to hell but us. The whole community. Baptist people, everybody was going to hell. Everybody was on the way to hell but us. Everybody. So y'all better get ready. So listen, y'all, I just had to I had to say this, because this is, we in this process, as we are preparing for the new earth and creating a new earth. There are things that we have to pay attention to, and those things happen to be, how do we minimize the karma? Because we have to slow this train down, because it's been going real fast and it's fucking some shit up. It's really going fast. It's really. So we've got to slow this thing down. We got to slow it down. How do we stop the karma? How do we put some brakes on it? Okay? It needs to be some brakes. Right? No karma. No pain. No pain. No gain. No gain. Oh, no pain. Okay? So it's going to be a little painful. Right? Because we have to stop. We have to cease. Cease fire. Yeah. Oh, that is my desire. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So what of His word? I hear Rance Allen up in the house. All right. So listen, because at the end of the day, we got to do some changing. Period. It's gonna happen. So whether you're on board or not, it doesn't matter. The train is moving. It's moving. Because that's the will of the divine source energy. We are spirit beings. So we are stepping into the ambiance of our truth. But in the process of that, the scales have to balance. So there's a whole lot of balance going on up in here on the earth. On this plane, balance has to be restored, which means karma for people. Karma, dharma, however it is. Things are being put into place. And one of the things that has been a major contributor to this entire catastrophe is the implementation of control and anger, right? So anger is the foundation of fear. It's the foundation of hatred and pain and all of these things. We created that. We established that as a foundation of us, as an alternate from love. And therefore we also created indoctrinations that were palatable for us, or for those who were in control, for them to have mental control of us. There was a person that was in my life that felt like, so long as you said to their children, so long as you can get them mentally, the female mentally, they'll do anything for you. That's not just in that scenario. That's a more localized situation. But on a global spectrum, we're talking about people. This has been the foundation of us. We have claimed our freedom in the places where we were most controlled and sedated mentally. Free in the streets, in the physical, left the plantation, but you were sedated mentally. Gone. And Harriet Tubman, I keep hearing it. Free your mind and the rest will follow. Yeah, I keep hearing I think of Harriet Tubman's movie. Great show, great movie, by the way. And she went back to get her sister. And her sister, in the middle of the night, she done tigers, lions, and bears, oh my, done all that, right? And she go back there and get her sister, and her sister says, no, I'm good. Master treat me good. Why? Because she had never known freedom. So that was, she good. She not gonna have, she good. I'm good. Master treat me good, right? A lot of people are scared, and that's fine. Divine say not everybody is on board. That's fine. It's all right, because your soul's mission to be on a mission so that we can, the playing field is being cleared, if you would, right? It's being cleared. The owners have taken back ownership. It's enough of us woke. So that's fine. Just wait for it. Just wait for it as long as you're here to see what's happening, because it's going to happen. It's happening. It's beyond, it's enough energy. It's the momentum is going, right? So I just want to say, stop talking about it. Please. We've gotten it so twisted. The way people think that people are fighting for money. What people do for money. What people do for money. Right. Doing all kind of stuff. Got life messed up. Thinking that is the point. How childish of us all to even think that. Right? Like that's the point. You know what I'm saying? The ones that get the money are not the ones who were really looking for it. Like it wasn't even like that. Yeah. Stay focused. Stay focused. The mission and purpose in our lives is to be about the mission and purpose of the divine, the vision for humankind. All right? I love you guys. I hope, I know this is going to definitely, this message is going to find the person that needs to hear it. Or everybody needs to hear it. They need to hear it. Stop talking about people. Preachers, keep your mouth off folks. Okay? I heard that and I'm like, wow, they're still doing that. Man, that's sad. That is so freaking sad. So people who are really following the spirit, moving in the flow of the divine, which is outside of that low vibrational realm of control. Because anywhere someone is putting you in a situation where you are suppressing who you really truly feel good at being, you've got to reconsider where you are and your perspective and how it's being influenced derogatorily, not in light of divine source energy. I gotta go. I love you. I choose to be guided. Oh yeah, I choose to be guided. Transformation, it is so. I love you so much, so much. Don't forget to join me online. You know what to do, baby. Subscribe and like this video. It'll help me out so much. Have a good one. Peace.